Melissa, emotions are high here in Emporia as it was announced today that this Tyson plant is closing. Now, the plant's closure is set for Valentine's Day. Just after 2 p.m., Topeka fire crews responded to a call at the Memorial Building on 10th and Jackson. There were reports of 2 suspicious packages. David, this historic building once hosted state officials, and now it houses trash and dust. I spoke with a man earlier today who's seen this place at its best and its worst. Well, David, these apartments finally got their dumpsters cleaned out and taken away earlier today after weeks of decay. The Blues brought the community together for food and fun, while not forgetting what the holiday is really all about. From basketball to zip lines, Charlie Farms has over 30 activities for your family of all ages. Boyda says she's got nothing but respect for her competitor Matt Kleiman. And now it's on to November. Be sure to roll up your windows and lock your doors anytime your vehicle is unattended. A burglary can happen in a matter of seconds.
He's lived up to his name, Lucky.
After a long Tuesday, 9-week-old Lucky made it back home. Lucky was inside a car that was stolen around 5:30 a.m. from a West Topeka quick shop.
I was just kind of taken away that the car got stolen in the first place, especially right in front of me. But seeing the scanner calls come across that they were, chasing the car, I mean, I was praying the whole time he wasn't in the car.
A sheriff's deputy spotted the car around 2 p.m., resulting in a crash that ended near Southwest 29th and Fairlawn. Even after the arrest, there was no sign of Lucky until later that night.
Well, last night we received a phone call from a generous lady that said she had the dog and she didn't know it was lost or stolen until she watched the news.
A DoorDash driver spotted Lucky and gave him to the woman who called the owner, Raleigh LaPlante, and his wife.
I'm feeling tremendously blessed and thankful that he's home safe and sound. He seems pretty happy with us now.
LaPlante says they couldn't have found their pup without the community's help.
I feel super blessed that Topeka stood together and made this puppy come back home. I mean, I'm appreciative, and my wife is just overwhelmed by the amount of support we've received from the whole city.
And now, Lucky's home without a scratch. Are you happy to be back with your family?
Yeah.
It's going to be a big blow to the community.
Shock has rippled across Emporia.
My children's father works there, my uncle works there, and my brother-in-law works there.
Emporia's Tyson plant closure leaves many families with bills to pay.
It's very scary to think about how 3 households within our family are gonna figure this out, and it's just, my brother-in-law and my sister have a baby on the way. My children's father just went back to work at Tyson after a 3-month unpaid family leave of absence because I had an accident that left me unable to walk.
More than 200 employees will be shifted to Tyson's Holcomb plant. The rest will be offered other transfer opportunities. City Manager Trey Cocking says they want to keep as many employees in the community as possible.
We want to be able to get in with job fairs into the building itself. We want folks to know what those opportunities are, definitely here in Emporia and throughout the region, so they can stay here. We had a rapid response meeting with our chamber, with our Regional Development Association, with Kansas Department of Commerce, with Kansas Works, United Way involved, just trying to bring a lot of the stakeholders to the table.
One plan of action is to fill other job opportunities offered by similar manufacturers.
We have great industrial partners, great employers throughout our community, and we're really hopeful that a lot of these impacted employees can find a home in some of our other industrial partners here.
Although the loss is felt throughout the community, leaders are optimistic as to what the future will hold.
Emporia has had rough days before. This is certainly one of them, but every time we emerge stronger, and that's my expectation, is that we'll emerge stronger as a community, and that we'll come together and work to find opportunities for folks.
We Kansans are erecting a building specifically to house our museum.
Almost 45 years ago, the Sunflower State looked to the past in breaking ground on the state's History Museum. Now, that same piece of history is getting an upgrade.
We are making sure that all the stories that we are putting back, the artifacts, they're clean, they're conserved, the stories are accurate, that they're well researched and well written, and that the design is exactly the kind of redesign, fresh look that we want all Kansans when they come back to, that they would expect.
So we see the construction going on here in the lobby. What's next over here?
Well, I'm going to walk you into our main gallery and show you what we've been doing with the renovation so far.
So when you walk in, there's 4 different sectors that people can choose to go off to.
Yep. After the intro, yes. You have kind of these 4 big areas, and then within that, there's topics that you can explore in more depth. So bleeding Kansas, making Kansas, connecting Kansas, changing Kansas.
What once was a chronological exhibit is now changing to thematic.
It allows people to decide which path they want to start with, what hooks them about Kansas history. So we are, in their introductory gallery, going to be asking a question: what is Kansas? What does Kansas mean to you? And some of those bigger symbols and perceptions and ideas that have made Kansas, Kansas.
And it's giving updated looks to fan favorite artifacts.
Sometimes this will be a physical difference, like we're going to be providing some elements that get you a different perspective on, say, the log cabin.
Wondering if the train that's been a part of the museum since it opened is still around? We have some good news.
I don't know if it's ever going to go anywhere else, and so it was quite the endeavor to get it here in the first place back in the early 80s, and so it's still here. It's going to be looking spotless and beautiful after it gets its cleaning.
To you, it's just a shoebox.
Soccer ball with a pump, water bottle, pens and pencils.
But to children across the world, it may be the first and only gift they ever receive.
Operation Christmas Child is a box that makes its way overseas to kids in need.
You can fill these shoe boxes with toys, school supplies, and hygiene products. But they get one more thing before getting shipped away.
The gospel is everything, and so for the gospel to be included in this, more than just some things, more than just some gifts, we want to give the greatest gift.
I've been here and here.
Carol Mamalidi has been to some of the countries where children will receive these boxes.
These kids don't have anything, like they have nothing.
She says the purpose goes beyond a Christmas gift.
Our main goal is to bring Jesus to these people because he's the only one that's going to bring them hope and only one that can change their heart.
One mission.
The gospel simply is the good news of who Jesus is.
Tucked inside a shoebox.
To hear the good news of someone who gave their life for them, that died on the cross for them, that will give them a lifetime of peace and happiness and joy, it's the best.